removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law. But if true, it could rise to the level of criminality. And, we'll see what happens after the DA looks and investigates.
It's interesting because, obviously this civil suit was coming for a while.
Yep.
And there was some talk between Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers. I think both Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers are really alphas.
The hard drive that could destroy hip-hop's royal family just landed on a federal desk. Beyoncé and Jay-Z's empire is shaking, private jets are fueled, and insiders say the Carters are about to vanish before prosecutors can serve papers. But this isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is about what happened behind locked doors at Diddy's mansion and why music's power couple might flee the country to keep those secrets buried.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
What turns billionaires into flight risks overnight? That's the question burning through Hollywood since investigators crack open Sean Diddy Combs' private files. Inside that digital vault, sources say there's a list that's making the music industry's most untouchable couple pack their passport and prep for escape. Beyoncé's suddenly canceling shows, Jay-Z's dodging public appearances, and their private jet keeps filing flight plans to countries where U.S. warrants don't reach. The power couple that once ruled red carpets is now allegedly rushing to disappear before federal agents start asking about those private parties where phones got confiscated and NDAs came before cocktails. 20 years of carefully crafted perfection might crumble because of one seized hard drive. And what happens next could turn the Carters from American royalty into high-stakes fugitives.
Years.
Oh, Mr. Diddy, aka Mr. Love, now.
No, Sean Carter.
Every scandal has a ground zero. For hip-hop's current meltdown, it was the moment Cassie Ventura filed her explosive civil suit against Diddy, painting a years-long portrait of manipulation, forced intimacy, and hush money payoffs. Within days, federal agents raided 2 of Diddy's mansions, seized devices, and interviewed ex-staff who hadn't been heard from in years. A week later, prosecutors quietly broadened the target list to associates who facilitated or participated. Suddenly, it wasn't just about Diddy, it was about everyone who ever stood beside him when the phones were locked away and the music got louder. Behind closed doors, entertainment lawyers started comparing calendars. They noticed 2 abrupt moves. Beyoncé's European festival run vanished from internal drafts without explanation, and Jay-Z's postponed a keynote for a high-profile NFT summit, citing unforeseen travel conflicts. At the same time, flight tracking enthusiasts spotted a Gulfstream registered to a Carter-controlled shell corporation filing provisional routes to the United Arab Emirates, the Maldives, and Mauritius. 3 destinations celebrated not only for turquoise water, but for extradition gray zones. The internet scoreboard lit up. Cassie's hard drive unlocked, subpoenas rumored, and the Carters appear to be scouting no-return islands. A coincidence or choreographed retreat? Depends on whom you ask. But the next puzzle piece came from an unlikely storyteller. But that wasn't the whole story.
If that's part of the indictment, that's someone like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
DaBaby rarely turns down an anecdote if it lights up a podcast clip, and his 2023 retelling of a Super Promo 2020 mansion party did exactly that. He claimed he arrived at Diddy's LL compound expecting an industry mixer vibe, champagne, handshakes, the usual networking. Instead, security stripped phones, NDA forms slid across a marble bar, and the guest list shrank to fewer than a dozen people. The rapper rattled off names he recognized, 2 leapt out, Hov and B. No photographers, no entourage, no casual plus ones, just the mogul couple, Diddy, a sprinkle of billionaires, and a vibe DaBaby reluctantly described as grown folks' playground.
As far as, is he gonna turn people in? Is he gonna cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're gonna cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70, that's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
At first, the anecdote felt like celebrity gossip. Then viewers matched it to paparazzi shots showing Beyoncé and Jay-Z in Los Angeles that exact weekend. No children, no visible protection detail, their usual SUV Caravan conspicuously slimmed down. On its own, that proves nothing. In the wider context of prosecutors mapping Diddy's inner circle, it sounds like corroboration. The Carters weren't occasional acquaintances, they were VIP guests during nights now under criminal review. And what happened next would shock everyone.
Sean had to take responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that.
If investigators decide to poke beyond party attendance, they'll quickly find Jay-Z's early career lore, stories most fans filed away as ancient rumor, but which never fully vanished. Rumor 1, Foxy Brown. In the mid-1990s, the gifted Brooklyn teenager signed with Def Jam, Jay's home label. She was 15. Whispers swirled that Jay and Foxy's relationship blurred the mentor line. Journalists asked Dame Dash, Jay's then business partner, whether anything inappropriate happened. Dame's eyes darted and he told the host to ask Jay directly. He never denied it. That clip lives on YouTube, racking millions of replays every time new allegations surface.
Jay-Z got his up by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it after. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your whooped.
Rumor 2, the R. Kelly alliance. Even after early tabloids flagged Kelly for predatory behavior, Jay recorded the full Best of Both Worlds album with him, toured stadiums together, and defended the collaboration as strictly about music. Dame later said he skipped the sessions because, quote, I didn't rock with how Kelly treated young girls, and Jay knew. If prosecutors are building a pattern argument, those receipts sit within reach. Fans now revisit these tales and note a template. A powerful man gravitates toward young, ascending female talent, wraps them in mentorship, leverages their shine, and seldom faces pushback. Once you overlay that template onto Beyoncé's origin story, the mood shifts from fairy tale to case study. But the next layer made everything feel even darker.
Are scared of him. I think they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand? I think that
Beyoncé's childhood was a masterclass in stage discipline. Tina designed costumes, Matthew managed deals, rehearsals outranked recess. By 16, she was a global pop contender, but socially sheltered. One high school boyfriend, no college dorm discovery phase. Every diary entry monitored for brand impact. Enter Jay-Z, then 30 plus, already a hip-hop tycoon. He told the magazine he met B when she was 16, yet waited until she was of age to pursue her. Critics now argue that the phrase waited hides the power imbalance. By 18, she idolized him, sought his industry approval, and trusted his every suggestion. Former bodyguard Uncle Ron inflamed that narrative during a live stream this year. He alleged Jay introduced substances and late-night studio marathons to make sure Beyoncé stayed malleable, too dependent to question new directives. Ron's words sparked immediate denials from Beyoncé's camp, yet they mirrored Cassie's claims about Diddy using chemical leverage for control. Parallel plots seldom help a defense. Insiders also say Beyoncé's personal phone runs through multiple assistants before it reaches her hand, that her schedule still requires Jay's silent sign-off, and that every public Q&A is pre-screened. Whether that's brand precision or puppet string management depends on perspective, but cracks finally surfaced in an elevator. And that famous elevator clip was only the start.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
2014, New York Standard Hotel. Surveillance footage leaks. Solange Knowles unleashes a flurry of kicks and punches at Jay-Z, while Beyoncé stands frozen. Publicists framed it as family business, yet insiders now claim Solange confronted Jay about late-night meetings that mirrored Diddy's playground habits. The fight ended when security pried them apart. The unanswered questions never did. A couple of years later, Beyoncé dropped Lemonade, an album stitched with infidelity hints. Jay responded with 444, an audible confession streaked with remorse. Fans consumed it as therapeutic art. Cynics saw coordinated PR, air out minor sins to preempt investigation into bigger ones. That theory gained traction when the 2024 Rock Nation brunch silently vanished. The annual event had been networking nirvana, drones, designer suits, life coaching speeches. Beyoncé and Jay-Z never missed a photo pop until Diddy's raids hit page one. Tickets were never printed, invites never emailed. Hollywood felt the silence louder than any cancellation notice. But even bigger warnings hid in the money trail.
In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you?"
Music insiders who track corporate filings noticed Beyoncé transferring touring LLCs into a new Caribbean holding company 6 months before Cassie's lawsuit. Around the same time, Jay-Z shifted portions of Armand de Brignac's champagne equity into a trust administered from Dubai. On paper, those moves look like tax optimization. In a prosecutor's playbook, they resemble asset shielding, harder to freeze if housed offshore. Divorce whispers circulated too. Beyoncé supposedly met with powerhouse attorney Laura Wasser, famous for celebrity uncouplings. The rumored plan: finalize tour revenue, split amicably, and co-parent from separate wings of the empire. That storyline vanished once investigators widened Diddy's net. Suddenly, sources say the couple pivoted to a joint survival blueprint. Scout real estate in Ghana's exclusive airport hills, negotiate a long lease on a Maldivian villa reachable only by seaplane, secure citizenship by investment options in 2 Caribbean nations with famously slow extradition protocols. One realtor in Accra bragged on Twitter that global icons toured his most private compound in March. Same weekend the Rock Nation brunch should have happened. But the court of public opinion started moving faster than any relocation plan.
I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
Beyoncé's fan base once crushed anyone who breathed the word controversy. Now, even lifelong Beehive accounts thread timelines of suspicious silences. TikTokers compile side-by-side footage. Cassie describing control tactics, Uncle Ron describing Beyoncé's schedule, both stories syncing beat for beat. Hashtags like Ground the Carters trend worldwide as fans beg Homeland Security to flag passports until the investigation ends. A Change-GG petition demanding a Department of Justice probe rocketed past 500,000 signatures in 48 hours.
Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down.
Simultaneously, Jay-Z's older interviews resurfaced, him bragging about meeting Beyoncé at 16, him dodging direct questions about Foxy Brown, Dame Dash telling a podcast certain lines I just don't cross. But some people did. Even former Destiny's Child members drop cryptic tweets about contracts signed too young. Suddenly, the hive mind that once protected the Carters now sifts through every lyric, every tour date, every backstage pass, searching for hints they missed. The pressure intensifies when flight trackers tweet, Carter Gulfstream scheduled for wheels up at 2:00, destination undisclosed. The same post logs thousands of retweets by fans pleading, don't run, answer the questions. Within an hour, the jet filing disappears from the public registry, triggering even more speculation. With anger rising on the timeline, the only question left is speed versus subpoenas.
That, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally.
Here's where we stand. Federal investigators cracked open Diddy's circle. Now rumors say Beyoncé and Jay-Z's names appear on the secondary witness board. Leaked schedules hint at canceled tours, offshore LLC shuffles, and last-minute property hunts in countries where extradition can stall for decades. The baby's mansion story. Foxy Brown whispers, Uncle Ron's control claims, the vanished Rock Nation brunch, and a tidal wave of fans flipping from defenders to digital investigators. All of it paints a picture of two icons edging toward flight rather than deposition. Will the Carters become the first family of self-imposed exile, sipping luxury mocktails on a remote atoll while lawyers negotiate their future? Or will sealed envelopes arrive before the jet doors close, yanking them back into a spotlight hotter than any stage light they've ever commanded? One truth remains: silence no longer protects the powerful the way it once did, and the internet keeps receipts better than any grand jury. So tell me, does this end with an island sunset or a courthouse sunrise? Drop your theory below, and if you're hungry for more unseen details buried in Diddy's discovery files, tap the next video on your screen. The dominoes are still falling, and the final crash may be louder than any stadium crowd.